Hey y'all, we're back at it again. Finally, things are a little crazy for me right now at work, like I said before, but here we are in the shop. It's, the heck? About 8 p.m. Not bad. Had some dinner. Chicken, corn, taters. It was good. Anywho's, here we are. I told y'all that we were gonna have a shift in plans, and I'm gonna walk through them, and then we're gonna do a walk around on this truck. So we haven't dove in here, but anyhow, I like this truck way too much to put a blower on it and do all kinds of stuff, and that's what my plan was. I think maybe 2 or 3 videos ago where I said, big change, motor's coming out, fun things, we're gonna go fast. We're still gonna go fast, but I'm not boosting this truck. I could, and it'd still be real fun, and I could drive it on the street and whatever, but my problem is, if I wreck this truck, I'll be sad, and I don't wanna be sad. I mean, I'll be sad if I wreck anything, but this truck in particular. I'll walk you through this truck here in a bit, but you'll understand why it would suck to wreck this truck. I could wreck that truck. I don't want to. So I'm not even going to do anything to that truck except drive it. I just put a starter in it the other day. I didn't show you guys, but I did. It was making noise. It was starting fine, and on acceleration I was getting a sound like marbles bouncing around. It wasn't good. Turns out the nose gear and the starter was clanging up against the flywheel as it was spinning, and I was accelerating and the gear wasn't pulling back in. So anyway, I threw a high torque mini starter on that thing. It's fine probably for the rest of my life. Probably not, but that's fine. Anyway, I don't want to wreck this truck. It also would take a ton of work and modifications to this truck, and it's just way too original. Now, if you remember, I pulled an Oldsmobile Rocket 350 out of this, so it wasn't numbers matching or any of that. However, the trans was the original trans from this truck. I don't even think it was ever rebuilt. So if you know somebody looking for a Rocket 350 Olds and Turbo 400 trans combination, I mean full, pulleys, accessories, the whole deal, I'm gonna sell it. Probably get $1,000 for that as a combination for the right Oldsmobile guy looking for that. Between $800 and $1,200, I'd say. Probably get $1,000 for it. So anyway, I pulled that out. And by the way, I think I talked about this before, but I'll say it again. This truck was a diesel from the factory. It was a pretty rare thing, actually. It's a heavy half truck. The VIN tells us that, and the information in the glove box still has the sticker in the box. This was a diesel heavy half. Had to be custom ordered that way. Heavy halves, if you watch Vice Grip Garage, he's got a Hemi half. That's fine. It makes sense why he called it that, but that was actually a Big 10 truck, if anything, because Chevy was Big 10. GMC was heavy half. He had a Chevy. Eric, I'm not ripping on you, but I'm calling you out. Anyhow, this is a heavy half truck, real heavy half. Custom ordered with a diesel. It's got all the diesel timing instructions here. It's got the diesel start instructions on the sun visor. And so those things were just crap. And really what GM did when they were putting diesels in these trucks, they went to Oldsmobile, and because of the wall thickness apparently in the Olds motors, they were basically converting a small block 350 gas motor in the factory to a diesel. Glow plugs, you know, all the diesel stuff, different intake, heads modified, but actually the same heads, they flowed differently. Exhaust was the same. So anyhow, that was an Olds 350 gas motor that GM made to a diesel, and they threw them in these trucks. They were junk. Guys would pull them out and replace them with junkyard Rocket 350 motors, gas motors. The reason they would do that is because, again, the exhaust would bolt right up, the heads were the same. The BOP, that's Buick, Olds, and Pontiac, transmission bell housing for the Turbo 400 that was in these trucks, or even maybe it was a 350, but this one was a 400, they would just bolt right up to the back of the Olds gas block. So it was a real easy swap. Couple wiring changes, mostly eliminations because the diesels had some different wiring, but everything else was here. Minor changes, and you were rocking and rolling with a gas motor. So again, not numbers matching aside from the trans. I don't really care that much. I could have used an adapter plate and kept the Turbo 400 and all that crap, but no. I put a 6L8 or 4L80 in this and a 6-liter LQ4. It's already got the headers on it, and we'll talk about all that in a second. I did all that and then kind of stopped. And in that stopping period, I just decided to start this YouTube channel. Otherwise, I'd have shown you all this. Maybe I'll pop a picture up from when we did the swap here. The motor's sitting over there, trans is attached to it, all the accessories ready to sell. I'll get rid of it. This truck is just too original, aside from that non-numbers matching setup that was in it. I don't want to touch it. The rear is a 12 bolt. It's got the extra leaf springs, which I guess I'll back up for a second. The heavy half came to be, or the Big 10 came to be because the government said, if you are 6,000 pound GVW or less, you need emissions. And this was 1978. Things started to get a little crazy. Fuel was expensive. The government started really buckling down on emissions requirements, things like that. GM kind of turned around and gave the government the finger and said, fine, we're going to build a heavy half pickup, and it's still a half ton. The frame is the same, chassis is the same, all the steering components are the same. We're going to add some leaf springs in the rear, put a 12 volt rear end in it, and I think just a couple other small things. And we're going to raise the GVW by 50 pounds. So they were at 6,050 pound GVW for heavy half trucks, and it didn't need emissions. Turns out the government caught on. They really only built these things for a few years, and they stopped. And then they just complied because it's the government and that's what you do, I guess. So that didn't last. More recently, they actually did build 1500 HD. I guess maybe that was like 2006 or 7 or 8, somewhere around there. That didn't last very long either. Now they have max tow 1500s and all that crap, but the trucks now aren't like the trucks were when they built this one. Anyway, because of that, it's a pretty rare bird, and I really don't want to mess with it much. Paint on this is very original. There's no welds, there's no replacement body panels. This truck was taken care of. I got it from a guy who had it for a very short period of time. He didn't even drive it. Apparently he traded a dude a camper. I think that's Matt. And Matt, we're friends on Facebook and we've met a few times. So that was actually 2 guys before I bought this truck. The guy I bought this truck from, his wife was like, get rid of it. I hate it. You don't drive it. I don't want it. Get rid of it. I actually managed to find Matt through the registration that was in the box. I reached out to him on Facebook because I wanted to get the history of this truck. He's a cool guy, into cars and trucks. His daughter still wishes he had this truck. Sorry. I have it now. He's never getting it back. You'll probably never see this truck again. My bad. That was in Pennsylvania. This is an original Pennsylvania truck. Matt bought it from the original owner, who apparently was a mechanic, had a shop. He's the guy who did the swap. So technically I'm the 4th owner. Really the guy I bought it from, I don't think he ever actually even titled this truck. I think when I got the title for this truck, I think it was still in Matt's name. Anyway, call me the 3rd owner. I love this truck. It's a blast to drive. It was up pretty high at factory height when I got it. It had the wheels that are on it now. I like them. They're kind of Riddler-ish wheels. Anyway, 15s, I think 15 by 8 in the front, 15 by 10 and a half, I think, in the back, 15 by 10. So they get some meat in the back, but this truck just drives great. I slammed it down on the ground. And honestly, I went too far, but no such thing. You definitely can't get underneath of that. And so what we're gonna do tonight after we do a walk around is put these proper motor mounts in. I need to spray them, clean them, and paint them, but these are Tejas Steelworks motor mounts. The very specific reason I need to use these is because the mounts I put in there really probably would let me clear for the AC compressor, which I've mocked up in there, but this actually raises it up, raises the motor up and shifts it, I think, forward. I don't know, we're gonna find out together, but anyway, it also allows for the AC compressor to be bolted in without having to notch the frame, which is great, because I don't want to cut this truck up. It's easy to swap back in another diesel, I guess, if you wanted to, or that 350, whatever you wanted to do later, that's fine. But for now, we're going to modernize it for reliability, comfort, a little bit of pep and speed. So I'm not touching anything on this truck. We're not going to race it. I might take it to the track now and then just for fun, but I'm not going to do drag and drive with this thing. I just like it too much to risk wrecking it. That said, let's just do a quick walk around and I'll show you sort of inside and outside and get a feel for what we're starting with here. And then we'll jump into bringing in the crane, the hoist, and picking that motor up a little bit, swapping out those mounts. Of course, I already put the frickin' headers on, so they'll be in my way. You know, I guess really I probably should have thought about this. The real problem is not even the air conditioner compressor, because it's in there right now. The actual problem is that the oil pan is like this far off the ground. That's because this truck's so freaking low. These are the same mounts that I used in that truck, but that truck's not as low. It's low, but not as low as this one. I mean, this thing is down here. So yeah, I need to raise that motor up because I don't want to swap the pan. If I swap the pan, I got to pull, it's a whole thing. So we're just going to take the easy way and really just do what I should have done in the first place. And I really should have used these Tejas mounts in that truck too. But that truck doesn't have AC yet. I have a full vintage air kit over there that'll go in that truck, but I just like that thing. It's fine. Put the windows down, open the vent windows up, let her rip, tater chip. Otherwise, this one's factory air. That had factory air, but if you remember the firewall and all that stuff I had to replace, it's a mess. Anyway, let's do a walk around on this thing. All right, so like I said, it's low. By the way, I got a new lens. One of my buddies reached out and said, dude, you're standing way too close to the camera. Zoom out. I said, it's a prime lens. It's the widest it can go. It was a 35, so I got a 20 on here now. And it's a G Master lens, and it's a Sony. It's not a G Master, it's a G. But anyway, good lens, gonna be great for HDR, especially outside. Who cares? Those are the wheels. They were on here. Actually, the same tires are on here from when I bought the truck. So you can see it's a Sierra Classic, and it's a C15 because it's a GMC, not a C10. It's got the big boy mirrors on it. This is the original paint. Right here is a little blem. You probably can't see it, but there's a pretty sizable dent that used to be on the bottom that I pushed back out. But what happened there was, well, my wife was driving the golf cart, and I don't know if she realized there was brakes. And I was on it with her, and I tried to stop by using my foot, you know, pushing the brake with my foot, and I pressed the wrong pedal in panic, and in we went to the bumper. Yeah, is what it is, street truck, right? Yeah, the paint's not perfect. The clear coat is kind of trash actually on this thing. So I've done as much as I can to really detail it and bring it back up like we showed this car, which is already dirty, and I should have covered it up, but I'm an idiot and I didn't. Anywho's, I added the tonneau, wider wheels in the back. There's that heavy half sticker. She's on both sides. I honestly don't think either Matt or the guy I bought this truck from know that this is a heavy half. I might have told Matt when we met after I bought this, but anyway, I think you won't believe how much I paid for this truck, and I'll tell you at some point, I guess, but I threw a hitch on there because why not? I've towed a jet ski with it. She tows pretty good. Bumper pull. There's the hood. I did have an issue with the hood. It's real hard to see because I've re-cleared it, but you know, the clear coat started peeling on the hood, and just it goes crazy. So you get it to stop as much as you can, and then re-clear it. But it's not perfect. But like I say, it's a street truck. It's got that real nice big bumper on the back. I love that bumper. Super cool. I can't tell if that's a factory bumper or not. Front one I'm pretty sure is factory. It's got the bumperettes on it. I've seen these bumpers as available, but I don't know if somebody swapped it or what. Hard to say, but it's cool. It's in good shape. Pinstriping's kind of coming off in some spots, but that's hand painted pinstriping right there, folks. That's not vinyl. So I don't care. I like it. Little GMC emblem here. This trim surround I have for the white truck too. I'm going to put it on there, and I also have the kit that puts there, but we might do something different with this truck in terms of paint. So the only thing that was repainted on this truck is from here up to the top. You can see that the color is matching the regular body color, but back in the day from the factory, this thing was actually a different shade of blue on the top. And you can see the paint's coming off in some spots. Again, street truck, not too concerned. There's a rust spot over there, probably can't see it, just a very, very small one. I just keep wax on it. It is what it is. Somebody added these pretty sweet stainless, you know, window vents. I like them too. These things are all over the place. Not a big fan of them, but I don't know. Just never really thought to take them off, I guess. See, they're on all the wheels too. Here's the front bumper, bumperettes, like I said. I put a California plate on it. I just think it's cool. It says 1978, even though the plate itself says 79, the sticker on it says 78, and well, she's a 78. Bill took the emblem off of this. Actually, he didn't take it off. He just painted it on there because it was kind of faded. Let's go inside and then we'll talk about the mechanicals. Oh, this was a dual tank truck. Now it's a single tank. I got to drop that tank anyway because I have a new tank to put in it with a sump for fuel injection, which we're going to need. She's got the slider and a cargo light. No battery in it, so of course I can't show you that things work, but everything in this truck works. I had problems with the AC, and I sorted it all out. I completely redid the interior of this truck. It was not what it is now. It was red. So I think the dash was black, the seat was red. I don't know. I didn't like it. No offense to whoever did it, or if that was factory, I don't even know, but she needed to go back to this blue. I like it a lot. So all of this trim here is the original trim. In fact, it's kind of busted, but I've got it silicone together. Probably could redo some of that. This is factory. All the switches are factory. Handle, inserts, all that's factory. This I replaced, the handle I replaced, these little caps were missing, so that got replaced. I don't even think this side had the handle here on it. I forget, but it wasn't good. The interior needed some help. These I just painted, believe it or not. I went to Walmart and was like, yeah, this looks close, and dang it, it was spot on. Both sides. I just painted them with Rust-Oleum. That's what that is. It's been that way since I got the truck, maybe 6 months after I got the truck. So, you know, it doesn't sit outside in the sun or anything, and it's whatever. Seat belts, they're original. No headliner, but I like these trucks like that. I mean, they're just clean, and they kind of don't need a headliner. slider works. That's all original. Even this clip, I mean, it still has that texture on there like it would from the factory. I mean, this is just such a great truck. It doesn't make sense to risk racing it. Gauges, I pulled, they were a mess. I don't remember exactly what happened, but because this was a diesel truck and I still have the diesel bezel that was in here, that bezel, it was black plastic. This is just like some kind of, I don't know. I don't like this really. I shouldn't have done this. And I'll probably change this. I haven't decided yet, but you can see it's peeling off over here. It's brand new, still has the freaking plastic on it, but it doesn't stick. I don't know what I'll do yet. I'll figure that out. But anyhow, these gauges, the gauge pod, the cluster, the bezel that was in here originally had a glow plug light here for the diesel. That was disconnected, and then I think this was the fuel gauge instead of a tack originally, and then somebody hacked all this stuff together and nothing worked when I had the truck. So I pulled all this apart. I replaced the whole back piece, the plastic piece. I got a tack instead of the fuel gauge. I moved the fuel gauge over here. Battery, oil pressure, engine temp, coolant temp, and speedo. The speedo is original. So this thing has 91,357 miles on it right now. Pretty decent. And that's definitely not 191 or 3. So anyway, all this stuff I got back working again. The shift indicator wasn't doing anything, just nothing was working. So yeah, it's all back together. Windshield wipers weren't working. It was a bit of a mess, but it was hacked together, right? Because somebody swapped that diesel, they made all these changes, stuff probably stopped working over time, and I just went through and refreshed it. Well, guess what? All that's coming out. I'm replacing that with Dakota Digital gauges, just like is in this truck here. They're awesome. So you get all kinds of details, and I got the OBD2 port adapter, so you just plug those suckers into the OBD2 port and you get speed. I mean, everything. You get everything right there. It's got trip, it's got quarter-mile times, the whole deal. So super easy. I am planning to keep the factory AC controls, heater controls. Stuff all works. No reason to swap it to Vintage Air or anything else, and it's nice and clean, and I took it all apart and made it work. So I'm going to keep all that and leverage a new style compressor with all the old mechanicals inside and electronics. I put a retro sound radio in it. No Bluetooth, but it's got, you know, an aux cord and whatever, but all I do is listen to the radio, so it's fine. These guys I actually spray painted with like chrome in a can. They came out pretty good for what they are. They're not perfect. Some of these little tabs are broke and whatever, but it's fine. Bill went through and cleaned this up and repainted that for me, so she looks nice and clean. And then my buddy Tim, he had this this seat cover laying around in his garage for a build he was going to do, or have somebody do, I don't remember. And I think he sold the truck, and he's like, hey, I have this seat cover. It fits. I think the seat cover is for an older truck, but it fit on here and does the job perfectly. Matches the truck nice. It's not real leather. It's not cracked. I love it. Over time, I might swap that out for what I did in the white truck, which is the back seat out of a Tahoe. It's just super clean, very comfortable, but I have no reason to do that. Here's the, if I can, there we go, diesel engine starting procedure. So all original. Truck's in really, really good shape. Antenna in the radio antenna in the windshield. By the way, holy smokes, check out my light setup. I mean, we are not playing games here, guys. Not playing games. We got microphones now. We got backup microphones. We got new lenses. We got a gimbal. I mean, this is just highbrow. not playing games. And look at that. I mean, this truck is just straight. It doesn't take much. Yep. You know, every square body's got to have the PVC or PEX on there. You know, pretty sweet. Let's go around the other side real quick. Oh, square bodies. This carpet that's in here is junk. I really should order a carpet for this thing. You know, COVID, just in case you're at a car show and someone has COVID. I don't know. Here's the original sticker from the dash with all the RPO codes. The old PA weight truck class sticker that never goes on anything that I had in Pennsylvania and don't need. Ooh, box cutter. I don't know why that's in here, but I'll take it and put it in the box. I don't know what that is, some kind of string. Anyway, yeah, it's a good truck. Let's look under the hood. One thing I did replace was these center caps. They were all rusted and rotten. You can see some wear here where the paint's coming off of this trim. It's, you know, it's been nicked here and there a couple times, but again, I don't care. I really don't. This trim here is glued on. Never even noticed that. It's fine. Some touch up that doesn't match. You know, that's why it's like there was a big giant dent in the door. I took the panel off and popped it out, and that's still there. So here's what it is. All right, under the hood. Well, there's no hood, but if there were a hood, under the hood, 6-liter LQ4. Like I said, I've already got the headers on it. Obviously no intake, that's okay. We're gonna jack this sucker up. We're gonna clean these, spray them. If I don't get tired and lazy, we'll throw them in there tonight. If I do, we'll throw them in there another night. Something. Factory air, factory heater, the whole deal. I'm not changing it if I can help it. I got to figure all that out. We'll figure it out together, but shouldn't be too bad. This does have, I think, like an Olds AC condenser in it. So I don't think that's in the right spot for a square body. I gotta look that up. We might, I don't know. I can make my own AC lines. I've got all the tools and fittings for that, so I can do anything I want really, but I'll probably just make this work. I think probably we should consider replacing that. Yeah. Oh, because this was a diesel, it has what the heck is that? Power Boost brakes. It does not have vacuum boost. It uses the power steering fluid and reservoir to power the power steering. So I had to rebuild all that. It was leaking and causing all kind of problems under the hood. But it's super cool because you really don't need vacuum. Interesting little tidbit. The 6 liters also have a provision, a cap, that doesn't allow for power brakes or vacuum brakes because they don't make a whole lot of vacuum at idle. So the 6 liters in the heavy trucks like a 2500 or 1 ton would also use these. So you can still get this setup. Doesn't look exactly like this, but even in modern trucks today. And for the white truck, because that's also an LQ4, I had to take out a little fitting on the back of the intake and pop in a hose barb so I could get power brakes with vacuum back for that. They work just fine. This, I'm not swapping that. I love it. It works really, really well. So I can't remember
I ordered a new power steering pump, and it has the provision for the brakes. So that'll be great and easy. In the white truck, I'll pop the hood. You can see what I had to do in order to use the appropriate, oops, that's the brake. Ooh, she's dark over here. Anywho, you can see right here, I think you might be able to see it. Anyway, I had to tap and put a bolt in the provision for the brakes that I didn't use here because this has a vacuum booster in it. So we can do a walk around this truck another day. I kind of did real fast, but this is how that's going to look. But this truck's good, it's clean. I mean, it's got a new firewall in it. There is our Rocket 350 and BOP Turbo 400. I mean, I'm even getting you an air filter and an oil filter, brand new. High torque mini starter, just ready to rock. This thing's ready to go. Alternator, water pump, all that stuff's brand new. I just replaced all. It's not brand new, but it's a few years old now, but don't have a lot of miles on it. This thing runs great. It just doesn't have the power that I want, and I like, and I get out of this white truck. So we're going to do it again in the blue truck. By the way, I think I mentioned Bill and I spent a couple days and we hung shelves. Guys, I wasn't playing games. I mean, this stuff was all in the garage, on the floor, in little cabinets here and there. It was a mess. I couldn't take it anymore. So I'd have probably had more video content for you, but I had to take care of this. So we put shelves floor to ceiling, all the way back in the corner, along here. I moved the press, I moved the parts washer. Like, we're getting this place set up like we want to. I had a giant, massive oil puddle here from, I don't know, a spill or something. Cleaned all that up, hung my little NHRA banner on the door. Yeah, we're rocking and rolling now. So it's easy to find stuff. Everything's pretty clean. I still got a bit of a mess over there that needs, most of it's trash. We hung the hose reel. I got my custom light. Yeah, boy. What? Valve cover, balancer pulley, the valve cover bolt thingies, and an air cleaner that's held on with Allen keys, and a hubcap. It's like a, I don't know, you tell me, like a Ford? Is that a Pontiac? What is this? We're not really sure. It's neat, and it's the top to my air cleaner light. I love that thing. Everyone tells me I should sell it and I could probably get a lot of money for it, but heck no, she's sweet. Anyway, this is all the parts for this build for the blue truck. We've got a new water pump, all the gaskets. There's the old water pump fan. The whole front accessory. You can see that this power steering reservoir has that provision for the power brakes. I've got trans cross member, which I don't need. Some of Bill's junk, I don't know how it made it on this shelf. Spark plug wires, the header's already on. Starter. I even have electric cutouts. So that's fun. Wiring harness, all the Dakota Digital stuff, coil packs. It's all here. Sensors, power steering pump, ultra power. I don't even know what that thing is. Fuel pickup, fuel pump. There's the other motor mount I need to grab anyway. So we've got a bunch of intakes, some helmets. Oh, and my excavator. Yep. All right, so let's grab. Here's the instructions for the motor mounts. We'll just put that there, and I'll forget I did. Bolts. All right, let's just take this motor mount over. We got a cleaner with brake clean. Spray it black, and then start picking this engine up.
and take the mounts out. So I'm gonna go clean and where did that, oh, here it is. We're going to clean these with some brake clean, dry them out, and spray them with black paint. And then I'll come back and we'll start ripping into this. Bolting the chain on, pick this thing up a little bit, just enough to sneak those other mounts out, sneak those new ones once they're dry in. Let's see what kind of progress we can make tonight. Well, I'll be honest, I don't think we're gonna get these in here tonight. It's pretty humid here today. It's been raining all day, which is good because we really needed the rain. I know it's Florida, who would have ever thought we needed rain, but we've been in actually a little bit of a drought. You can't even burn here right now. Anyway, because it's so humid, and it's not hot, and I really don't feel humid in here, but there's moisture in the air. Anyway, I sprayed these with brake clean, and any of you who have ever used brake clean know that it comes out, I mean, cold. So even though I got all the brake clean evaporated and sprayed off of this with air, they're cold, and now they're wanting to just condensate. I mean, there's water just dripping off of them. So even if I wipe them down here, I'm not confident that these things are gonna, yeah, see, they're getting wet straight away. They're just cold, so I don't think I'm gonna be able to really get these things dry enough that I'll be happy that they won't recondensate and the paint will dry, which is going to be the other problem. I'll sit here watching the paint dry because of how humid it is, and it just never will. So anyway, now I gotta let these dry, and they'll probably rust, which is fine. At least they're not oily, which would stop the rust. It doesn't matter. We'll get these wiped down, just kind of set them to the side. We're not gonna get these in tonight. But I gotta take the headers off because I don't feel like messing with trying to be around the headers or whatever. I could probably put this thing in the air pretty easily, but it's gonna be easier to use the engine hoist to get this thing. It only has to come up. I just got to take the pressure off and slide the bolt out, and then the clamshells, they stay on the cross member. They're factory ones, they're new, but they're the factory ones because this had an Oldsmobile in it, and well, they had different motor mounts. So I needed to get small block Chevy mounts for the body side of the chassis side of the truck. So they're brand new. They were like 11 bucks at, I think I got those at Advance, maybe O'Reilly's. I think they were Advance. Anyway, it doesn't matter. I got them at a parts store. And I can't, yeah, that's annoying. Although they are kind of drying right now. So maybe I will get the paint in these tonight. I gotta prime them first. That's just raw steel. Man, these things are welded nice. Tejas, he does good work. But see, there's water all inside there that I can't get to. I'm not even gonna bother. I'm not gonna rush it. It's been sitting here this long. I don't need it. I have that one. I have the we got plenty to drive. I don't need this done tomorrow, and it won't be done tomorrow anyway. Even if I could paint these mounts. So I'll just, I don't know. We'll keep them dry, and maybe I'll get to paint them at lunchtime tomorrow so they're done. I started this channel because I want to document my journey to drag and drive, and that's why a lot of y'all have joined and subscribed, and I appreciate that. I'm not making money from this, but it's still fun. Hopefully I can help somebody learn something, and hopefully y'all can teach me something, because I really I didn't grow up wrenching. I mean, I guess a little bit here and there, but we didn't even have a garage when I was young. So I'd help my dad with brake jobs here and there, and honestly, I don't remember even changing oil with my dad, but we probably did. But
Yeah, I guess we did.
we just had a little driveway. We parked on the street, and you know,
We had a little three-wheeler and a snowmobile, and it was always fun. I just never really cared.
until I would say maybe my junior year of high school. You know, when all my buddies started driving, and
I didn't get my license until pretty late. I think maybe even my senior year of high school. I didn't need it. I walked to school every day. I lived real close. All my friends, they had their license, and I was an idiot, so my parents really didn't want to get me to get my license anyway. Probably better. I'd probably be dead, or somebody else would be. I'm still an idiot, but I need my license now.
anyway, all my buddies, they had these, you know, these cars. My friend BJ, he grew up around motors and wrenches and racing and street rods, and his dad, he built this street rod for, I mean, as long as I can remember. I heard he recently sold it, which is crazy to me, but anyway, he was always around stuff. And in fact, in high school, he drove a 1982 C10 pickup. He wrecked that thing hard into a retaining wall and turned around and painted it up and drove that thing all the way through, I guess even through me being in college and him being in college. And then he kind of, you know, went and started a business and lost a little interest maybe. So I bought that truck from him. That was really my first, I call it a hot rod, I guess. It was a square body. And that's what started it for me. We both won an 82. I got an 83. I wasn't even supposed to keep that truck, but anyway. So I've had a bunch of square bodies actually over time, and then I got a Corvette. I sold that square body reluctantly. I should never have sold that truck. I sold it for, at the time, $1,000 with no motor and trans in it. Actually, the motor is in that, and it had a 5-speed Borg-Warner World Class in it, and yeah, it was just fun. That was fun stuff. And then my other buddy in high school, he had Alan. He had a 87 Trans Am GTA. Man, that thing was fun too. You know, put a chip in it and the whole deal. He had a bunch of body work done to that car, and then we 5-speed swapped it. So yeah, I learned a lot, like sort of my last 2 years of high school with my friends. My buddy Caleb, he had a 72 Cutlass, blue, just like this one, black vinyl top. We would roll through intersections just smoking the tires. What a blast. And in high school, I drove a 94 GMC Jimmy, 4-door, I mean 6-cylinder Vortec. It was a good little SUV, but I wanted to go fast, so that's why I bought the red truck from BJ. And like I said, I sold it. I never should have sold it. We know where that truck is. The guy won't sell it back to either one of us. It's up in PA. BJ's tried many times, but I'm rattling on. You guys don't care. I mean, some of you do, but so yeah, that's kind of how I ended up back wanting to get another square body. Ended up with this one. I love this truck. I won't get rid of it. Look, the chalk is still on the firewall from the factory. This truck's super original. And I'd like to get another square body. I really want to find an 82. A lot of unique things about 82 square bodies. You know, the bumpers have the signals in them, all that stuff. They're very unique trucks. I like them a lot. And that's the year I was born. So anyway, here we are. I guess I was saying you guys hopefully maybe can teach me some things. I do things the way I do them because that's how I know how to do them. I'm here by myself most of the time in the garage. Bill, he comes sometimes. By the way, funny thing, I've been watching a lot of Puddin's Fad Shop lately. If you haven't watched it, man, he is funny. Like naturally funny. Super fun to watch. And he'll tell you too, like, I'm not a motor guy, I'm not a sheet metal guy, he's a metal guy, but not a sheet metal guy. But he's good with his hands, and he'll just dive in, he'll set stuff on fire and whatever else. So we're all learning all the time. So hopefully, like I said, I can teach you guys something, and hopefully you can teach me something in the comments, or a lot of you guys know me and have my phone number, and if I'm doing something wrong, tell me. I'll fight you on it. No, I'm just kidding. But we got to get better. That's all. So I haven't been doing it all that long, I guess is what I'm saying, compared to some other people I know, but I've been doing it long enough that it doesn't scare me, and I'm okay to break stuff and cuss about it and take it out and put it back in again, I guess. Anyway, the Puddin's Fab Shop thing, he's got an old guy Bill, and I have an old guy Bill. So if you have a shop and a YouTube channel, you need to have an old guy Bill, because I think it's a requirement. My Bill, he comes and goes, and Puddin's Bill, he just comes and goes too. So anyway, just funny. All right, I'm gonna pull the headers off of this thing, and I don't know. It's kind of all we can do tonight. I guess I could take the AC compressor out too, and then go put this on the computer and get it on YouTube. Okay, I think I need a 10 mil. By the way, I really like my toolbox. It's new. You never saw the old toolbox. I outgrew it. I have this other one here next to it, and I outgrew that, and the other one. So I got this behemoth on some kind of deal from Harbor Freight. Let me tell you, they had the top section of this box, it went on clearance, and I just happened to be in there, and I love this green. I have an orange one here, and you saw my green cart for detailing. But anyway, I bought the top section. I couldn't do anything with it, and so the lady at Harbor Freight, the manager, she said, as soon as the bottom one goes on clearance, you can come buy it. I said, great. I went on clearance, and she said, yeah, but we can't sell it. I said, well, you told me it went on clearance. So I had this stupid top box in my way for like 2 months. Annoying. I finally reached out to Harbor Freight on Facebook, and they put me in touch with the district manager, and the district manager called the store and the manager and said, sell him the bottom. He has the top, sell him the bottom. And so I went in there and I got this thing on clearance, so we loaded up, and here we are. Let me tell you something, this thing is like a frickin' tractor trailer. I never thought I'd need a box this big, but everybody needs a box this big. It is awesome. All right, I guess what I'm saying is, thanks Harbor Freight. You gotta be persistent. Oh, you might notice I'm wearing my Cooper Bogetti Coop shirt. It's Coop's work boots. Turns out Coop, he wears the same ones. I don't know. I watch Cooper. If you haven't seen Cooper, he has a great 2 YouTube channels, really, Cooper Bogetti Studios. He's just up here in Bradenton. He's he is the original right-hand man for Cletus McFarland, Garrett Mitchell. So I'm sure y'all watch Cleater, and I'm fortunate enough to be real close to Bradenton, where I can go to the Freedom Factory. Bill and I just went up there for Freedom 500, and Cletus and Cars the next day, and hung out with Derek Beery and the Vice Grip guy and his wife, and kids were there, and then Burnouts. I mean, it's awesome. Anyway, Cooper, he's Cletus's like original dude, and has branched off and done his own thing, and man, I can't get enough. He does these podcasts, they'll go like 4 hours long, but it's great. I'll watch them, the whole thing. So you can listen to his podcasts on any of the podcast platforms, but then he also puts it on YouTube as a video. It's great. And then he's got a 2J swapped Camaro and LSA swap Mustang called Chip. So go watch him. It's great. You'll love it. I've met him a bunch of times. Super cool guy. Just hanging out in the pits, in the staging lanes. Just
That's what's great about drag racing and the drag and drive. Even the YouTube stuff, like these guys, their heads aren't big. They'll have conversation. They're just like me and you, and they'll talk to you and answer your questions. And yeah, it's great. So I support those guys as much as I can. I buy a lot of stuff from Cletus. Keeps him being able to make content and grow his business. And I bought this from Cooper. I've got a bunch of vice grip stuff because I like it. And like I said, I started watching Puddin's Fab Shop lately, so I bought a bunch of stuff from him too. So I don't sell merch. I don't know, maybe someday, but no, I don't. So I'm not looking for support. You know, if I can help somebody and answer questions, I always tell people, if you're doing something, someone else has already figured out how to do it. So if you're having a problem, find the person that already did it on YouTube, and they'll tell you how to do it. I haven't yet been able to have a problem that I couldn't go to YouTube and solve. So yeah, I guess that's why I'm not really afraid to rip into stuff. Not that we've had YouTube since I've been in high school, but whatever. Oh, that's not gonna work. We need more power. How did I put these things on here? Dang it. I guess with this. Nope, that's stuck. Yep. Another Harbor Freight buy. These things are great. No, Tractor Supply, actually. Keep you from scratching your paint on your cow. Also original paint, by the way, on the cow even. How in the devil? I guess we're gonna resort to the old ratchet. Oh, speaking of Harbor Freight, have you guys ever seen these rubber and composite ratchets from Harbor Freight? I mean, how many times have you been here working on a battery and you short something out with a metal ratchet or a wrench? Not with this. And they're comfortable and they're light. And when they stop working, you just throw them away and go get another one. I already have another one, actually. For when it breaks, I don't have to go get one. I have a spare. I've got one in every size that you need. Let's just loosen these. And then I'll get the 90 in here and let her eat. Yeah. And that one, I need a wrench, so. The old 10 millimeter. Got to loosen this last one. Yep. Yeah, buddy. Get out of there. I said, get out of there. You know, nothing like doing things twice. I fought with these headers to get them in there. Why did I put this over here? Now I'll move it here, and when I go to that side, I'll have it all the way over here. Anyway, I fought with this thing to get it in here by myself. I don't know, I'm an idiot. Should have just ordered the right dang on. Well, that's one thing out of the way. Should have ordered the right motor mounts to begin with, but I was being cheap and trying to, you know, whatever. But here we are. The good thing is I don't really need to slide these headers out because they can stay down here and they're out of the way. It's not leaning on the motor, and when I pick it up, I only have to pick it up a tiny little bit anyway. So, all right, do the other side. I'll bring it in. Man, that lens is wide, huh? I love it. Hagen, that's for you, buddy. You were bitching about that lens. I can see up your nose. He didn't say that, but I know that's what he was thinking. You're ugly. I don't want to look at that face. He didn't say it, but he didn't have to. Yeah, that thing is, wow. She's tight. So now when I put this camera on the gimbal, not only do I have good glass in front of it, but when I turn it on selfie mode, y'all don't have to look up my nose. What the devil? Oh, I grabbed my backup ratchet. Oh man, what a pain. You know, you gotta have headers when you do this. These kinds of builds, no sense putting stupid factory manifolds on, but man, these things are a pain sometimes to get on and off. I shouldn't have to take them off already, but here we are. Yep, and now the heater's in the way. Oh, there we go. Well, that one I didn't tighten. All right. You know, I keep starting stories and then shifting and losing track of what I was saying. So let me get this header off and I'll tell you what we're going to do about drag and drive. Oh boy. She's out now. Wow, wow. Last one. And there goes the header. Okay, this one I'm going to take out. This is just going to be in my way. Shoot, might as well take this one out too, huh? No sense having it under here. If I can get it out. Whoa, this truck is low. I mean, I got to show you guys how low this oil pan. I think it's like 4 inches off the ground. I don't know. I think I put this header in from the bottom. Yeah. Nope, she's gonna stay. Right where she is. It's fine. Okay, so what are we gonna do about drag and drive since I'm not using this truck or that truck? What we're gonna do for drag and drive is we're gonna use a car that's already meant for going fast, and that's my police car. So you've seen in the first couple videos on the channel, I have a 2013 Caprice PPV. I cam swapped it because I wiped the lifter and wiped the cam. So it's got a new cam. It's got new lifters, LS3 valves, Beehive spring or double springs, BTR dual springs. That's an L77 motor. I did a DOD delete obviously and all that stuff. That thing's stout. I need to get it to the track actually and just run it like it is. I should have probably got it to the track and ran it with the factory drivetrain or valve train in it, but I mean, I know what they go in the quarter and they're heavy, like 4,500 pound cars. I've been thinking about putting a Torque Storm supercharger on it, but I think I'm just gonna do an LSA swap on that. Well, not an LSA swap, but
an LSA install because they just make good power. And I know it's what everybody does, do something different. I don't want to turbo the car. I love a supercharger. I've had a bunch of supercharged cars that I've done. I had a 2010 Camaro thing, made just tons and tons and tons of power. It was unstreetable, so I sold it. I just found out actually somebody in Newtown Square has that car now in Pennsylvania. Anyway, I did a 2015 Silverado. Actually, that was a sort of heavy half-ish Silverado. This is a max tow package, the whole deal. I put a supercharger on that before the warranty was even up on that truck. I sold that to the same guy I sold the Camaro to. And then I bought a Duramax truck instead. I don't want to put a turbo on, is what I'm saying, on the Caprice. So I think we'll just do an LSA. I can get a kit pretty reasonably, actually. Brand new stuff, bolted on. I mean, that thing's good for 1,000 horsepower. The bottom end's not, but you know, I just want to get to 500 horsepower, which is really why I was thinking about just throwing a Torque Storm on it. But the Torque Storm requires, I don't really, to be honest with you, know a lot about them. Everybody that I've talked to in the Caprice community that has them loves them, but they got to double them up. So you can put twin Torque Storm superchargers on it. They're centrifugal blowers. And the thing about them is they're kind of like turbos. The kit comes with a blow-off valve, an air-to-air intercooler, a lot of piping and the whole deal. They kind of just bolt on and you swap some things around. It's pretty easy. LSA, you gotta get the right wiring harness, the right pulleys on the front, the right, you swap the intake for the blower. It's an liquid to air, so coolant runs through, which I also like better because if I do start putting down numbers with that car, I can actually run an ice tank in it and really get the ITs down. I don't know. I'm pretty sure I'm going to go LSA, but we're going to put more boost in the car is what I'm saying. It's, I mean, the nice thing is it's super comfortable. It's a big car. We can load that thing up with what we need in the trunk and the back seat and go. If I want to cage something, that's another reason I don't want to use one of these trucks or a truck at all for drag and drive. If I go south of 10 seconds, I got to put a cage in it and then it's not streetable anymore. I mean, it is, but you cage one of these trucks, you got to cut the back windows and the bars go through and then the tonneau cover. I don't like it. I just want to drive it and cruise in these trucks. If I want to cage the Caprice, I buy a cage kit and you bolt it in, weld it in, easy. And that back seat in that thing's so freaking big, you can put a cage in it and still fit two or three adults in the back comfortably, even with a cage. So anyway, that's the way I'm gonna go. I do like that car. It's not that I want to wreck it either, but who cares about numbers matching 2013 anything? So that's just a cool car. It already has a cam in it. It's not the right cam for a blower, but I don't care. I'll put a converter in that thing. It's got 292 gears in it now. I'll probably put like a 370 gear in it from a Camaro or something if I want. Maybe not. I don't know. I'll start with the rear end that's in it. I'll even start with the factory converter that's in it. It's got a 6L 80 trans or 90 trans, whatever. Oil cooler trans. I mean, that thing is like built to go fast and be abused. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to beat that car up some. Anyway, I take this compressor out. I guess my point is, we'll get to that. I don't exactly know when, but I gotta finish this thing first. Get it out of here, out of the way, over there. And then I can get the Caprice in here and we can start wrenching on that. We have some time. Not a lot. I mean, the year's gonna go quick, but we'll get her done. I don't even know if I'm gonna be able to enter into drag and drive. We're gonna try, but it's pretty hot right now. Everybody wants to get involved. Everybody's writing about it and doing stories about it and everything else. And I'm like, man, I hear horror stories about, you know, if you're not a big YouTuber,
you don't get in. I didn't know that. I thought it was, I don't know, I thought it was kind of easy. And no, I don't want to do sick ward. People say, oh, I couldn't get in, so I did sick ward. What do you get for sick ward? You get to do the other things that the racers are doing except race, and I want to go and race. I mean, yeah, if I don't make it, I'm going to do sick ward, but I don't want to. I want to race. Everybody wants to see a police car go down the track, right? I don't know. Go tell your friends to subscribe so I can get into sick week with an invitation instead of fighting over, you know, entries. I don't know. Clear, help me out, buddy. Coop, I'm wearing your shirt. Help me out, bro. I don't know. Probably not. That's fine. All right. This compressor, yeah. Junk. How? Oh. I went all out with this thing. Oh no, I didn't. I thought I tightened her down, but nope. I just must have hand tightened it. Well, I probably should have chased that with a tap. I'll tell you what's not garbage. What in the, is this thing going through the other side? Holy smokes. There we go. This is not garbage. Even the pulley's still fine. It's not clean, but I'll clean it and paint it blue like the rest. All right. I'm to a point now where I guess I could check those mounts. I could probably paint these tonight, at least prime them tonight. I'll prime these tonight, let them dry up overnight, nice and hard. I'll paint them black tomorrow during lunch, let them cure, and then I don't think I have anything going on tomorrow night. So I'll come out here and throw these in, probably get the headers back on, but yeah, we're gonna make some progress on this thing pretty quick. Once I get these mounts in, this is all I was kind of being lazy about. Once I get these mounts in, we can get the intake on and just start plugging away. I got this list here that I started. Plugs, plug wires, steam lines, intake. Engine and trans installs already crossed off. Headers already crossed off. Drive shaft already crossed off. Well, the drive shaft's in there and I'm not taking it out. That's the other thing. I'm hoping that those mounts actually slide me forward a little bit. I hope, because the mounts I have on there, they are adjustable and I'm slid all the way forward. So hopefully they stay where they are, or at least maybe come forward a little bit, because I could use a little play in that drive shaft. But engine and trans install, not quite done yet. Can I uncross it? Headers, they got to go back on. The gaskets, they stayed on there. That'd be great if they stayed forever until I put the headers back on, then they'll fall off. Plugs, plug wires, steam lines, intake, AC. That'll be very last. I guess I ought to order the bracket, because yeah, I need to order the right compressor, because I need to bolt all that together. If I wait, it'll never go in. So it actually has to be the first thing that I have to put in before the water pump and everything else. I got to put a hole in the firewall. Not my favorite thing that I'm thinking I'm going to need to do, but I need to do it because I put the engine control module, PCM, ECM, QC, whatever you call it, inside there. So it goes under the dash. I don't like seeing them under the hood, so whatever. We'll put a hole in the firewall, run a grommet. It's already on the harness anyway. And then I'll put the wire harness through, mount the PCM inside, take the dash apart. Well, just the gauge bezel really in this. The dash doesn't need to come out. Put the gauges in, wire them up. Then I need to put the fuel sending unit and the pump in the tank, and then put the tank in the truck. Although I do not put the tank in the truck right away. I actually leave it next to the truck with some long lines so I can test for leaks.
when I fire it. Run the fuel lines. I'll use the hard lines in this truck actually and plumb into them for both the feed and return. I got to throw a fuel filter in line. I got to take care of the power brakes, power steering lines to the pump box, all that. Put the radiator back in. I rode steam vent twice. I don't know why. Anyway, water pump, alternator belts, upper and lower rad hose, trans cooler lines and fittings. Oh, I'll just use, what did this thing even have? I guess I must not even had trans cooler lines in this truck. That's weird. That rad, I don't know. We'll have to look at the radiator and see if it's got trans cooler lines. Otherwise, in that truck, I actually installed one in the front. I might just do that again in this truck. Can't believe it doesn't have a trans cooler, and I never thought about it. Then you got to hook up the shift linkage to the transmission. Cool thing is, with the mounts that are in there at least, I can just hook that linkage right up to the transmission and use it, and you can't tell from the inside I'm running a modern transmission. We'll see if that happens with those two. Probably won't, because that's my luck. Then I want to clean up some of the wires here in the bulkhead a little bit. Don't really need to, but I can, I will. Obviously need new battery cables. Ground straps. Ground straps for an LS swap are critical. I mean, they're important on a small block too, but they are very, very important on LS motors. The grounds, with the coils being on top of the valve covers like they are, they need good ground or you'll have misfires. And a bunch of other issues with your mass airflow sensor and map sensor. Just everything needs good ground. So, you know, most guys will ground the heads to the block and the block, both heads to the block, even though they're bolted through. You still got to ground them. And then I ground both heads of the block on both sides to the chassis, and the chassis to the battery. I have all kinds of ground straps that I bought just for that reason. They're nice and clean, and they do what they need to do. Also grounds the transmission, which is very important. Then I'll throw the coil packs on. I need to do rear oil, gear oil in the rear end is what I meant here, and gasket. I've never had this one open, so we should do it. Then I got to figure out what I want to do for exhaust, which will probably be just the same as that thing, which is actually fairly straight pipe dumped before the axle, and then put the cutouts in there too. So it sounds like a lot, it looks like a big list, but man, once you get that intake on there and the motor mounts and the motor set right and the headers on, I could do this thing in a weekend. I need the motivation and the time to actually do that, but once that, the worst part about the white truck is I had to do a firewall. That sucked a lot. I wasn't ready for that. So I put a new firewall on that thing and I just lost all motivation. I hate doing body work. I do not like it. So once I got past that and everything was done, I got motivated again and started cranking on that motor, and it was just, and that thing I had to do interior. This thing, that white truck just needed everything. So had big stupid 20-inch wheels on it. So that truck took a lot. The blue truck here, I just got to make this motor run. I don't even know if this thing runs. I honestly don't. I don't know. The cam bearings look fine. I put a cam in, I don't even know if it runs. We'll find out together, I guess. Might knock, for all I know. Might have spun bearings. I don't know. I didn't pull the mains off of the crank, so we'll find out together. All right, I'm gonna go prime those things after I wash my hands. I'm gonna check that radiator for the trans lines just so I know if I need to order a trans cooler. I need to order a compressor. In fact, the motor mounts that I ordered from Tejas Steelworks tell you the part number to get for your AC compressor. So I'll look at the directions. I'll order one of them from somewhere and get it shipped here. Yeah, let's get her done. All right, see you in the next one.